Imagine walking up to a vending machine, inserting your cash and pressing a button. Instantly, your selected snack drops down and the transaction is complete. No need for a cashier, no waiting, and no confusion about whether you received the right change. This is the essence of smart contracts. In the realm of finance, smart contracts are self-executing agreements with the terms of the contract directly written into lines of code. They automate and enforce agreements without the need for intermediaries like banks or lawyers. Just as the vending machine operates under a set of predefined rules, so too do smart contracts function within the blockchain, executing transactions when conditions are met. This automation opens a door to a world brimming with potential. Picture a scenario where a freelancer completes a project, and upon submission, the smart contract automatically releases payment without any human intervention. This not only enhances efficiency, but also reduces transaction costs, as parties can sidestep the fees typically associated with intermediaries. Moreover, smart contracts enhance transparency. Every transaction is recorded on the blockchain, creating an immutable ledger that all participants can trust. But what if we consider the implications of such a shift? The strange consequence is that while many stand to benefit from these streamlined processes, others may find their roles diminished. Traditional roles in finance, such as brokers and notaries, could face obsolescence. This raises an important question: who truly benefits from this technology? On one hand, businesses and individuals could enjoy lower costs and faster transactions. On the other, the displacement of established roles could lead to economic turbulence for those reliant on conventional practices. As we begin to unravel the complexities of smart contracts, it's essential to recognize that while they promise significant advantages, they also challenge the status quo, forcing us to reevaluate our existing financial frameworks and the people who inhabit them. Imagine a bustling city where a government agency is tasked with managing public procurement processes. They are eager to adopt smart contracts, envisioning a future where transactions are automated, transparent, and efficient. However, as they dive into the integration of this technology, they quickly find themselves mired in a web of regulatory uncertainty. What happens when a government agency attempts to incorporate smart contracts into these established processes? At first glance, it seems like a promising leap forward. Smart contracts, which execute transactions automatically when predefined conditions are met, could streamline the often cumbersome procurement procedures. Imagine bids being evaluated and contracts awarded without the delays typical of human intervention. Yet the strange consequence is that the very laws designed to protect public interests may not adequately cover the nuances of smart contracts. Existing regulations often lack the specificity required to govern these automated agreements, leaving the agency in a quandary. They face a choice: either push forward into uncharted territory or stick to the familiar, albeit inefficient methods. This regulatory friction stifles innovation, as the agency grapples with the potential legal implications of decisions made by an algorithm. What if a smart contract misinterprets a term or fails due to a technical glitch? Who is liable? The ambiguity creates hesitation and with it, a missed opportunity for improvement. As the agency navigates this landscape, they realize that the integration of smart contracts requires not just a technological shift, but a comprehensive reevaluation of existing legal frameworks. They must engage lawmakers, legal experts, and technologists to create regulations that embrace the innovation of smart contracts while ensuring public safety and accountability. This scenario highlights a broader question: how can established systems adapt to accommodate emerging technologies, and what are the trade-offs? While the promise of efficiency and transparency beckons, the complexities of regulation loom large. The challenge lies not only in the technology itself, but in transforming the regulatory landscape to support it. As we ponder this intricate dance between innovation and tradition, we must ask ourselves, is society ready to embrace the necessary changes, or will fear of the unknown continue to hold back progress? The balance between innovation and regulation is delicate, and how it is navigated will shape the future of public procurement and beyond. Imagine a small business owner named Sarah, who runs a quaint coffee shop in her neighborhood. She's always been attentive to her finances, carefully managing her expenses and ensuring timely payments to her suppliers. One day she hears about smart contracts, self-executing agreements that could automate her payment processes, saving her both time and money. The idea is tantalizing, With smart contracts, she could streamline her operations and minimize the risk of human error. But as she starts to explore this new technology, uncertainty creeps in. What if she misunderstands how it works? What if a technical glitch causes a payment to go awry? Sarah's hesitation highlights a significant obstacle that smart contracts face in penetrating established systems: public perception and understanding. Education is crucial for adoption, yet the complexities of blockchain and coding can seem daunting to those outside the tech world. Many, like Sarah, may envision the potential benefits, but feel overwhelmed by the intricacies involved. Misunderstandings can breed resistance, as people cling to familiar practices rather than embracing the unfamiliar. This disconnect between technology and user comprehension creates a barrier that innovators must navigate. If Sarah were to fully grasp how a smart contract could function simply as a digital escrow service, ensuring that her suppliers are paid only when certain conditions are met, she might feel empowered to take the leap. But what if her suppliers aren't on board with the idea either? The resistance could create friction, making her hesitant to proceed. The strange consequence is that, while smart contracts promise a revolution in efficiency, the very people who stand to gain the most may hesitate to adopt them due to lack of understanding. As we ponder Sarah's dilemma, we must ask ourselves, how can we bridge this gap between innovation and public comprehension? What strategies can be implemented to educate and reassure small business owners, enabling them to harness the power of smart contracts without fear? In this evolving landscape, the balance between technology and user trust is essential for successful integration. What if a bakery could automate all its supplier payments seamlessly through smart contracts? Picture this: a charming little bakery called Sweet Delights, nestled in a bustling neighborhood, known for its fresh pastries and artisan bread. Every morning, the owner, Emma, carefully checks her inventory, places orders with her flour supplier, her egg distributor, and her local dairy farm. In the traditional setup, this involves a flurry of phone calls, emails, and reminders to ensure everything arrives on time. Payments are often delayed due to administrative hurdles or human error, leading to strain in her supplier relationships and extra costs incurred from late fees. But imagine if Emma decided to integrate smart contracts into her operations. With this technology, each order could trigger an automatic payment upon delivery confirmation. The smart contract is like an invisible hand, ensuring that once her flour supplier delivers the goods, the payment is released instantly without Emma needing to lift a finger. This not only streamlines her operations, but also significantly reduces transaction costs. No more manual payments or waiting for checks to clear. The beauty of smart contracts lies in their reliability. They execute terms of the agreement exactly as coded, ensuring that everyone gets what they expect. As suppliers see their payments coming in on time, their trust in Emma's bakery grows, potentially leading to discounts or better terms for future transactions. But what are the implications of this shift? The strange consequence is that while Emma benefits from efficiency and reduced costs, it also changes the dynamics of her relationships with suppliers. They become more like partners, reliant on automated processes rather than human intervention. Could this lead to a more collaborative atmosphere, or would it create a disconnect in personal relationships? Furthermore, what if a glitch in the smart contract results in a payment error? Who bears the responsibility when technology falters? The stakes are high as Emma navigates this new landscape. By embracing smart contracts, she not only enhances her bakery's operations, but also challenges the conventional ways of doing business, inviting both opportunities and potential pitfalls into her entrepreneurial journey. In this scenario, we see how smart contracts can reshape financial interactions, making them more efficient, yet demanding a new level of trust in technology over traditional human oversight. What if a city government decided to fully embrace smart contracts to manage its public projects? Imagine a bustling urban center where the mayor, fueled by a commitment to transparency and efficiency, initiates a groundbreaking procurement process for a new public park. Instead of the usual labyrinth of paperwork and bureaucratic red tape, they turn to smart contracts, self-executing agreements that function on blockchain technology. With these contracts, every step of the procurement process, from vendor selection to payment, is recorded immutably, creating a digital trail that anyone can inspect. This scenario raises a tantalizing question: how can such a system ensure transparency in public spending and reduce the specter of corruption? By employing smart contracts, the city not only automates transactions, but also guarantees that funds are allocated only when specific conditions are met, such as the completion of certain project milestones. Each payment triggers an automatic release, verified by the progress updates logged on the blockchain. The beauty of this system lies in its openness. Citizens can access this information in real time, fostering a sense of trust in their local government. Imagine the community's response as they witness funds being dispersed only when the park's playground is installed or the benches are placed, all documented for public scrutiny. This shift could redefine civic engagement, empowering residents to hold officials accountable in ways never before possible. However, this scenario is not without its challenges. What happens when the technology fails, or a key stakeholder disputes a milestone? The strange consequence is that while smart contracts enhance trust in public institutions, they also introduce new complexities that could stall projects or lead to conflicts. How do we navigate these potential pitfalls? It becomes crucial for city officials to combine this innovative technology with robust governance frameworks that can handle disputes and adapt to unforeseen circumstances. Moreover, there's a question of accessibility. Would all citizens be tech-savvy enough to navigate this new landscape? The introduction of smart contracts must be accompanied by educational initiatives to ensure that everyone understands how to engage with this system meaningfully. As we ponder this future, we must ask ourselves, can a city truly become a model of transparency and efficiency through the adoption of smart contracts, or will the challenges of implementation overshadow their potential benefits? Here lies the balance between innovation and tradition, a delicate dance that could shape the fabric of our urban governance for years to come. What if you could set up your savings and investments to happen automatically without any manual intervention? Imagine waking up each morning knowing that your financial goals are being taken care of seamlessly, just like the way your smart home adjusts the thermostat when you walk in. This is not a far-off fantasy. It's a glimpse into a future shaped by smart contracts. Picture a young professional named Alex, who has dreams of buying a home and building a robust retirement fund. Instead of juggling multiple bank accounts and investment platforms, Alex decides to use smart contracts to automate these financial processes. With a few clicks, Alex sets parameters. A percentage of each paycheck is allocated to a savings account, and another portion is directed into an investment portfolio. The beauty of smart contracts lies in their self-executing nature. Once the conditions are met, the transactions happen without Alex needing to lift a finger. This automation not only simplifies Alex's life, but also reduces the reliance on financial intermediaries, such as banks and brokers, who often take a cut of the profits. Imagine how much more efficient personal finance could become if everyone had access to this level of automation. The strange consequence is that individuals like Alex could take control of their financial destinies, minimizing human error and the emotional stress that often accompanies financial decision-making. But what does this mean for the established financial institutions? As people embrace these automated systems, banks may find themselves rethinking their roles. If smart contracts can execute transactions reliably and transparently, what happens to the traditional advisory services they offer? Will there be a shift towards a more decentralized financial landscape where individuals are empowered to manage their finances without intermediaries? However, this evolution isn't without challenges. Alex might face questions about security and trust. How can one be sure that the smart contract is coded correctly and that their investments are safe? Additionally, there's the concern of accessibility. Will everyone have the knowledge and resources to leverage such technology? As we envision this future, it's essential to consider the trade-offs. While the potential for efficiency and empowerment is significant, the risks and barriers to entry must be addressed to ensure that this new financial world is inclusive and secure. So, as we explore the possibilities of smart contracts in personal finance, let's ask ourselves, what changes if we take this premise seriously? Who benefits, who loses, and what new systems might emerge from this shift? Imagine a world where governance is no longer a distant bureaucratic process, but a dynamic, decentralized system driven by the logic of smart contracts. What if, instead of navigating a maze of regulations and red tape, citizens could directly participate in decision-making through transparent, automated agreements? This is not mere speculation. It's a tantalizing glimpse into a future where the integration of smart contracts could reshape our very understanding of governance. Picture a community that decides to allocate funds for local projects through a decentralized platform. Each resident can vote, and based on the collective choice, smart contracts automatically execute the allocation without the need for intermediaries. This could lead to a more democratic financial system, where power shifts from centralized authorities to the hands of the people. The strange consequence of such a shift is profound. Traditional hierarchies in governance may dissolve as individuals become active participants in shaping their financial landscapes. Yet while this sounds appealing, we must ask ourselves, who benefits from this new structure? Would it empower marginalized voices, or could it inadvertently favor those already tech-savvy, leaving others behind? Furthermore, as we consider this potential evolution, we must confront the risks that accompany such a transformation. In a decentralized system, how do we ensure accountability and prevent fraud? What happens if a smart contract is poorly coded, leading to unintended consequences? The balance between innovation and tradition becomes crucial here. Could we risk creating a system where transparency leads to vulnerability? As we ponder these questions, we must also consider the emotional stakes involved. Imagine a small business owner, once reliant on convoluted approval processes, now empowered to fund community initiatives directly. The feeling of agency could invigorate civic engagement, fostering a sense of belonging and responsibility. Conversely, what about those who find themselves alienated by this technological shift? The potential for a digital divide looms large, threatening to deepen existing inequalities. Thus, while the promise of decentralized governance through smart contracts is enticing, it is fraught with complexities that require careful navigation. As we stand on the brink of this potential future, we must ask ourselves, what does it truly mean to govern in a world where technology mediates our interactions? How do we harness the power of smart contracts to create a system that is not only efficient, but also equitable? The implications are vast, and the road ahead requires thoughtful consideration of the trade-offs involved. The future of finance and governance may hinge on our ability to answer these questions with foresight and inclusivity. What if trust in financial transactions was no longer placed in institutions, but in code? Imagine a world where the handshake of a bank or the stamp of an auditor is replaced by lines of code executing transactions automatically. In this redefined landscape, smart contracts, self-executing agreements that run on blockchain technology could shift the very foundation of trust from human institutions to automated systems. The implications of this shift are profound and far-reaching. Picture a scenario where, instead of relying on a bank to verify a transaction, parties engage directly through a smart contract that executes once predetermined conditions are met. This could lead to unprecedented efficiency and cost savings, but it also raises questions about accountability and the nature of trust itself. If a contract is programmed to execute without human oversight, who is responsible if something goes wrong? In this new paradigm, accountability may need to evolve as well. Instead of holding individuals or institutions accountable, we may find ourselves looking to the code itself. This could foster a new kind of transparency, where every action is recorded and visible on a blockchain, but it also introduces risks. What happens if there is a flaw in the code? A single error could lead to significant financial loss, and suddenly, the very technology we rely on for trust becomes a potential source of vulnerability. The strange consequence is that while we might gain efficiency, we could lose the personal touch that institutions provide, a safety net of sorts, built on human relationships and oversight. It begs the question, are we ready to place our trust in lines of code, and what does that say about our evolving relationship with technology? As we consider these shifts, we must also ponder who benefits from this transition. Will it empower individuals and small businesses, or will it create new barriers to entry in the financial landscape? The balance between innovation and tradition remains delicate, and as we tread this path, we must carefully consider the trade-offs involved. The future of finance may hinge not just on the technology we create, but on the trust we choose to place in it.